honestly the big family of deadlifts. I want to speak about, go over how important it is to incorporate is performing a hinging movement where it is a hip dominant movement where we're going to think of, which is the conventional deadlift. Now that we've talked about conventional deadlift, we're going to talk about our second part of the family, which is sumo deadlift. Performed in competitions typically is where you'll more so see a sumo deadlift or competitive powerlifter who's performing them. But it has gotten a little bit more popularity recently within like normal gym culture or gym community. This exercise is very useful irregardless of if you ever want to compete. It is something that should be part of your repertoire of exercises, especially when you're trying to hit more of your glutes, especially the gluteus medius, which is the side part of your hip, as well as working into some of the adductor muscles within the groin area. It would be very useful to include this exercise. So with a sumo deadlift, again, it's still part of a hinge, but it is a little bit more knee dominant movement involved than the conventional deadlift, because obviously the conventional deadlift doesn't have very much knee movement. So sumo deadlift, you're going, just like the name, you're going to adhere to having what a lot of people think of when they think of a sumo stance, like from sumo wrestlers. So sumo deadlift, you're going to widen your legs out. Typically, you're going to turn your feet slightly more out, and some individuals will actually turn their feet completely widened out to the side. With this, you're going to, for the most part, try to have in the position when you start the bar, your shins are pretty nice and straight up and down, in line with the ankle, and you're going to have less hinge position, depending on, of course, your anatomical measurements of your torso and your legs will depend on how much hinging you'll actually need specifically. But something to kind of help you guide into the position is once you've widened your legs out into the stance, you again are going to still have the bar fairly close to your shins. You can again do the same thing by straightening your arms and then depressing the scapula. And as soon as you have that locked in as a starting point, you're going to lower yourself by trying to push your hips back and bend your knees pretty simultaneously until you have reached the bar. Before you continue this episode, let's talk about an amazing opportunity for you. It's our 12-week fitness rehab accelerator. This is going to give you, for 3 months, an awesome opportunity to work with a trainer and a coach who's going to help you with your nutrition and your fitness goals. Help you create amazing, healthy, good habits to help improve your sleep, your diet, your exercise, and even help you start managing your stress even better. Why not take this opportunity and run with it? Don't miss out. Click the link in the description and get your journey started. I tend, though, with sumo deadlift, if I'm trying to fix someone's form or correct someone's form, I would want them to start from the bottom actually, and use a box or do a box sumo deadlift to really promote the movement. Because a lot of times, and I've had this issue myself, where form breaks down and you start to use your, when you pull the bar off the ground, your initial movement when your form's going wrong is your hips come up first. So how to fix that would definitely be using a box to kind of find your starting position of how high your hips need to be, and then getting the thought of a few things. Cueing yourself to think chest up first so that you drive your shoulders and your hips pretty much around the same time coming up. And you want to think to try to spread the floor out. Not the same as conventional where you're just going to push the floor away from you straight down. You're actually going to try to spread the floor, like you're trying to, if you're at a gym and you're on like those rubber mats, and it's like got that, you know, like the splits a lot of times in between the rubber mat, almost like you're trying to split the thing in half. That way you have a little bit more driving force through the hips, and you'll have a finishing position similar to the conventional where you're just standing straight up. There's no needing to lean back. So that's the sumo deadlift. Very similar in the sense of rep range that's best suited for this exercise. Typically is going to be 10 reps or less. Leaning heavily on the less than 10 reps typically. It's very good for building just some raw max strength. So not a very explosive or powerful movement in the sense of, if you think of explosive or powerful movement, your thought could go to a kettlebell swing or go to a Olympic lift. So it's not going to be explosive. It's more of going to just be raw max strength. With this movement, with just focusing on strength is definitely something to prefer. You can change and vary the tempo depending on your goals, and I think that's a totally different conversation. Prepare to make noise, honestly. After you, now you have your two big deadlift exercises that you'll probably see people lifting heavier weights than the rest of the ones that I'm about to go into. This next one is a very, I would say, a popular one, but also a very useful version of a deadlift that I probably would say goes into a lot more of my clients' training programs probably than any of the other versions of deadlift.